Love your tripod.
You like it?
Where are we? So he's on.
I have a label bigger than that on my tripod.
Merrie, as far as an introduction to Facebook world, will you just start, or do you want to be introduced?
Somebody tell me. It's the first time I've done it.
Give us, just give us a few minutes.
We got about a couple more minutes. We'll get ready to go.
Okay, a couple more minutes.
Put up the tripod and.
Since we have mashed as much stuff into this hour as we could, was there anything else, Judy, that you wanted to remind people?
We still have the fair that'll be coming up. Nadia and I, again, we're working on, and Karen, we're all working on scholarships. I just wanted, I didn't think Facebook needed to know our personal.
Oh, exactly, exactly. Before we go on,
Why don't you take a seat?
I have a couple of other announcements after we shut down the world.
After we break the internet.
After we break the internet. But I think this is pretty exciting.
It is.
The internet was being really squirrely this morning.
Was it?
We brought our own. We have a little, in case we need to, we have a little portable internet.
Live, nobody's watching it, but
So
you are
we'll-
live
if-
right now.
if it goes down,
Nobody's
we'll
watching.
remember.
Grab this.
You're on camera.
Well, I think that the beauty of this too
Nobody's
is
seeing it, just let you know,
for
right now you're live.
Who are
So we're
here,
gonna disconnect you.
if this,
We see your head moving.
Oh.
She's sitting on sand.
It ain't how we used to do it, is it?
Not at all, no.
I'm one of
As
the
a
moderators
test
for
case,
LULAC.
Chris,
I know that.
did you want to get on
I
Facebook?
said both of them know me by my first name. I don't know whether.
I don't think it's recording.
I don't know, it's red.
Nadia, we're going to have an SEC meeting on the 23rd at Berlin, at the high school, so all the SEC members will be there, right? And we're going to be selecting the Democratic National Convention committee members, and I assume they're going to be selecting who our delegates are.
And before that meeting, actually, after that meeting, we have to have another county meeting.
Yep.
Because none of the automatics, none of the SCC members are actually delegates to the national, or to the convention in
Right,
June.
we'll have a CD2 to elect our 7.
Is that in May, Nadia? When will this happen?
June. That'll happen in June.
After the
We will
7th
do our
primary.
meeting sometime between June 4th and the primary, which is June 11th.
The primary.
7.
It's,
Sounds like a
I will know more tomorrow.
Between the
I
4th and the
know-
7th?
I know nothing now,
Yep.
except for what I've received on the emails from Joe Forrest. And we're having a conference call tomorrow, so we'll get more information.
Debt has been reduced from 60,000 to less than 14.
Wow.
And we've got that pretty well under tow, so we're very appreciative of the people's generosity and the management of the the Democratic New Mexico Party crew.
Did everybody get a chance to sign the beautification information? Should you want it?
I'll get myself back here somewhere. Okay, that's, I'm taking over your stuff. Oh, no, unceremoniously. That's right, I just moved right in.
We're going to be the moderator.
It's actually a better view of it than here.
But this is just like New Mexico TV. Here we are at 7:03.
You know, I'm doing what I'm told.
I understand. You know how to take
They're
direction.
gonna be online, so,
Hit your mark.
so we'll figure it out.
And again, in order to get it rolling, is there an introduction that you want to do?
She's going to just
You're on Facebook now.
All right, so am I going?
Hang on, I just picked the screen. And buffering and humming, it's buffering.
Speed, action.
There you go, you're up.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We are here Live with Merrie Lee. This is a regular thing we hope to do on Facebook, live streaming. We are at Margot's in Alamogordo at the Otero Democrats monthly meeting, and I'm very glad to be here. I'm Merrie Lee Souls, and I am running for Congress, Congressional District 2 in southern New Mexico. And I'm looking forward to representing the people of southern New Mexico in Washington with respect, with fairness, and hard work. So at this point, I take any questions that anybody has. Yes?
What are your most important issues? What are the issues that are most important to you and drove you? Why did you run? Why did you decide to run?
So the question is, what is the issue that is most important to me? Why did I decide to run? And it goes back really to what I understand about democracy. And democracy being a fundamental value in this great country of ours. And too many people have told me that they've given up on our democracy. They think their government is for sale. They think their vote doesn't count. They think Washington isn't paying attention to the people that they're supposed to represent. And that's what I see in our district. And it results in people not bothering to vote, where voting is such a precious right and responsibility that we have to make our government work, our democracy work for us. So when I look around and I say, somebody ought to do something about that, and I look around and finally I say, well, I guess I need to step up and take that on. That is the most fundamental reason why I'm running.
Thank you, thank you.
Another question.
Well, I'm a retired engineer, and I know that you had quite a stellar career in engineering before you went into public service. A lot of people think there's a disconnect between the principles of engineering and those of public service. What can you tell us about what you learned through your engineering career that can benefit your broader outlook on public service?
Thank you for that question. So from an engineer asking me how engineering has something to do with public service. For those of you who don't know, I have a degree in electrical engineering. I also have an MBA from the Harvard Business School. And I spent my career working in the automotive industry for General Motors, for Delphi Corporation. And I did it all. I ran a manufacturing plant. I was director of purchasing. I was chief engineer.
Here, here.
And what I get from that, two things that I think are significantly important to the people of southern New Mexico. The first is, I know how to fix things that are broken. And by that, I don't necessarily mean machines. I mean processes. I mean the way things work or don't work. I see where it's going wrong. I find that lever that puts it back together and gets it back on the right track. What I promise you is I am going to set out to fix what is broken. The second thing, I did this in a global economic environment. I know firsthand what it takes to compete and thrive in our global economy. Southern New Mexico is not thriving. We are stuck. I believe that. We are stuck, and it's not right. We need to get our economy moving. And I believe I have the background and the perspective and the determination to make that happen. That's what an engineer can do for you in Washington. Yes, ma'am.
What are your policies on renewable energy? Because that's what we've got in New Mexico.
Renewable energy. So you're exactly right. Look around this great state of ours. We have amazing resources, whether it's the wind. I know at times we curse the wind, but we have wind. We have unending sunshine. We have geothermal resources. We have other clean, renewable energy sources we haven't even begun to tap. Add to that, we have really capable universities with the technology and the smart young people to put those things to work. We have national laboratories that have been in the field of energy development. Our future in energy is limited only by our lack of vision. We can do anything and everything we need to do. And I see New Mexico potentially, hopefully, as being the place that we create those technologies, those new and different and sustainable ways of doing energy going into the future. Not just for southern New Mexico, for the state, for the country, for the world. We can do it right here. We just need to get moving and do it.
Good answer. Ms. Souls, we've been taking questions live from the audience here, but we have a Facebook question. What is your feeling on student debt and Bernie Sanders' plan to make college free?
Okay. So, and we were just listening to education issues here in the state of New Mexico. I believe education is the best investment that we can make in our future, in our children, in prosperity. Education is what opens the doors to everything about our future. So I know that Bernie Sanders has been putting out the free education for all. If I were so privileged as to serve with him as our president and leader, I'd be happy to go down that path. I think there are lots of ways to improve access to public education for all children, all people, as an.
Would you please ask it again?
Certainly.
Thank you.
I was saying that we have a lot of people out there listening on Facebook. We have another question from the Facebook audience. Are you one of those tax and spend Democrats? And then what are your priorities?
So what a great question. We've been listening for a number of years. I remember when we first started talking about trickle-down economics. Well, I'm here to tell you, this southern New Mexico desert, it's not working. It's too little, it's too slow for our economic drought. So when I look at the economic challenge, how do you get the economy moving? It's a very simple principle. When the money moves, the economy improves. Okay? You can remember that. When the money moves, the economy improves. I see the challenge for government as how to get the money moving, keep the money moving, and to do that in a way that makes prosperity possible for the many, not just the few. So it's not always a matter of tax and spend, though clearly spending, government spending, moves money. I mean, it does in ways that sometimes other things don't get the money moving. But it's not the only way to get the money moving. So in all of my economic policy approaches, it's going to come back to, is this proposal going to get the money moving? When it does, the economy improves. When the economy improves, we stop having deficits. When we stop having deficits, more money moves. And when more money moves, we're addressing our debt. I'd much rather get the money moving than to put the brakes on moving the money. We will all benefit from getting the money moving.
Thank you.
Your very first, your answer to the very first question had to do with describing the apathy that the voters have, not only here in southern New Mexico, but everywhere. You've presented some ideas and some proposals, but do you have anything else to add about how you would erase that apathy? How do you deal with that? How do you instill in voters their desire to go and vote for you, putting aside the apathy that has been accumulating in their hearts and minds for years?
So how do we address voter apathy? And you took it back to my first response about democracy.
Right.
So I don't see democracy as being a spectator sport. And many of us have gotten used to sitting back and watching other people play the democracy game. My hope is that we can create enough energy around it's our democracy, it's our future, and each and every one of us has a role to play. It starts with casting your vote. It's the single thing that everybody, all by themselves, has the right and responsibility to do, and we are all equal when we cast that vote. And then, of course, there's lots of other ways. I think this election cycle is about people getting excited because they can see a different future. A future that could work for all of us and not just the few. A future that doesn't have to be stuck in the past, but can actually be about where are we going in the future. My hope is that my candidacy can inspire people, can motivate people, that we can get excited in this election cycle about democracy as a team sport, something that every one of us gets to be part of a team, and it's exciting when teams win. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing this year. Thank you.
I think that's a wonderful approach, the team approach, rather than what we're hearing elsewhere.
And speaking of what we're hearing elsewhere, we're getting questions from Facebook as well as from our audience live. But here's another one from Facebook. It says, how do you feel about the Trump wall?
How do I feel about the Trump wall?
Grind it up and put it in his butt.
So here.
I have a question for you from Facebook. How do you feel about the Trump wall?
The Trump wall. So we live by the border with Mexico. Mexico is our near neighbor. And I don't know about you, I have crossed the border regularly. Many people from Mexico go back and forth across our border regularly. Part of New Mexico's economic energy is directly related to what crosses that border. I talked about when the money moves, the economy improves. That notion of movement applies to people, it applies to goods, products.
You want to sit here?
I think you're doing a fine job, actually. Just go ahead and hit that little button on the left again, and once it goes red, we're live.
Are we live?
Are we live? Okay.
You're on.
So maybe many of you remember, for me it was growing up with the Berlin Wall. And that was a symbol of not what's best about us as mankind, but about what's worse about us. And I see that same kind of tragedy with the notion of a wall. between us and our close neighbor in Mexico. So I'm not looking for criminals and terrorists to come freely into our country, but I am looking for the vast majority of us to be able to travel freely between our countries. Walls don't help us do that. Walls get in the way of doing that. And I would be spending the money that we could have spent on a wall in much more productive ways that would help us facilitate people actually being able to be good neighbors. I think it's very important to southern New Mexico that we keep that border open.
Question, Donna?
Yes, I think that New Mexico is celebrated as quite a diverse state in our United States, and I'd like to know how your policies would help us celebrate the diversity that we have that is a strength in New Mexico.
Okay, the question was about how we celebrate our diversity that is New Mexico's strength. Many of you have heard me describe the listening tour that I made throughout this district. This district that I'm running in is the 6th largest district in the United States. And from one end to the other, we are very diverse. And that diversity is really remarkable in the ways that we are the same. We choose to live here. For all these differences, this is a beautiful part of our earth. It is rich in resources, in people, in history, in culture. And out of that are all those great ideas, all the energy that is going to keep creating a future that works in this global world that is shrinking every day. I think it is what creates that energy. The ideas that I'm never going to come up with, but that somebody over here, maybe with a different set of experiences, a different perspective, is going to come up with the next great invention, the next idea that helps us live and work together in harmony. I think it's a tremendous strength, and I'm looking forward to representing such a great deal of diversity and finding ways to make it work for all of us. Thank you for that question.
How about if we do one more question, and then we'll wrap it up? Anybody have a final question for Merrie Souls? In that case, go ahead, Stephanie.
How important are the veterans to your campaign?
Oh my goodness. Question is about veterans and how important they are to me and my campaign. Let me go back to the conversation about democracy. We have people that have put on a uniform, taking an oath to protect and defend our Constitution. And to do that with whatever is required. That's a serious commitment to this country. We make promises to our veterans as a result. I believe those are lifelong promises, not to be renegotiated, but to be kept. Lots of veterans have come to southern New Mexico. It's a great place to live. I would like to see us step up to those promises, those commitments, with everything we have throughout a veteran's lifetime. And I don't see enough of that going on right now.
Thank you.
And Stephen has a follow-up question.
Stephen.
No, we have to get rid of Pierce first, then the veterans can take over.
Thank you, everybody. So, we're done?
Let's get a view of your wonderful audience and say
Okay.
thank you to the Otero County Democrats. And if this gentleman can just repeat the last thing he said, we'll do it one more time if that's okay.
What you
Who do you want to get rid of?
Get rid of Pierce.
Get rid of Pierce. I am a veteran of 20 years and 1 day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.